Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. This is an episode of The Fifth Dimension that has been a long, and I mean a long time coming. We are going to be discussing on all aspects, facets of the past and the future when it comes to Xenoblade Chronicles. Not just Xenoblade Chronicles 1, not just Xenoblade Chronicles X, not just 2, but all of them in between and what could be on the horizon. And joining us, we got my friend, my boy, a returning member of the Fifth Dimension. Everyone, please welcome RogersBase. How are you doing today, good sir?
I am doing fantastic. Thank you for having me. Though, before we get started, I have a couple questions to ask you. Just a couple brief questions, because I know the majority of this is going to be spent on Xenoblade, okay?
Okay.
First question I want to ask you. Why do you tweet out the stream 3 times? Because I went to go retweet your stream, and then instantly you tweeted it out again with a better GIF. I tweeted out the first one that had the galaxy, and I'm like, all right, this is good. And then immediately following, you did one with a better GIF and a better copy in it. I'm like, why am I not going to retweet that? So I untweeted and then retweeted the newest one that you put up. And then you put up a third tweet with the link to the stream. I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you doing 3 of these? People know. Just retweet the same tweet, get better engagement. No. What are you doing? You're verified like me. You're part of the club. I need to watch out for you.
Listen. The reason why I do that is because I try to cast the biggest net I can. Because you already know that Twitter, every time there's a link attached to a tweet, they fucking bury that shit. You already know. So I gotta do one.
You retweet your own tweets. You don't do 3 tweets. You retweet the tweet so then people see it 3 times and then you pin it. That's how you do it. That's the wave. But you don't make 3 separate tweets because then people are gonna drown it out. They're gonna be like, "What is this? I'm not gonna watch this."
Well, I'll tend to try that. But the thing is, like, it always gets drowned out. But regardless with Twitch, like, oh, you put a link there because Twitch prioritizes like tweets with engagement, and then they always have the tweets with engagement without links because people tend to like, oh, they click like on that or they click this on that because if there's a link, they're gonna click the link and not the tweet itself. So that's why they're like, oh, I try to cast the biggest net for that.
That makes sense. And then the second question I have is I've been getting a lot of people tweeting at me saying, looking forward to the Naruto discussion. What on earth are they talking about? Have you been teasing some Naruto
No, I have not been teasing jack shit. I'm pretty sure it's Shadow Whip and his buddies, because I see Shadow Whip in the chat right now. It's like, oh yeah, One Piece.
Like, yo, you and him are gonna be talking about Naruto. I'm like, I haven't finished Naruto yet. I'm very close to the end. I just got to the Kaguya battle today.
Listen. So I finished Naruto. I finished Naruto, but I haven't finished One Piece. So how are we gonna have that discussion? Right?
You have to watch One Piece, honestly.
Exactly. I have to watch it.
And there's a live action one coming out now. You just watch that instead. Let's go.
No, I'm good. I'm good on that front. No,
you know what? You should watch the episode of East Blue. It's like a 2-hour special. It gives you all the information of the first 100 episodes. It's pretty good. I would highly recommend that. And it's free if you have Crunchyroll.
Is it? Well, I have Crunchyroll. But wait, is that official or?
Yeah, it's official. Yeah.
All
so
right,
it's all the first 100 episodes of One Piece condensed into one 2-hour special. It's good.
Okay. Oh yeah.
And the animation's better.
Well, I mean, like
everything was reanimated.
Wait, you mean before the before the time skip?
Yeah.
I pretty much know everything that's before that time skip.
Okay. So after the time skip, yeah, I mean, you could just catch up with that on your own time.
I mean, I dabble in One Piece. Like the last thing, I know they're on Wano right now, and then I know like a good chunk of what happened on Whole Cake, but then before that it was kind of a blur. So, but like before Whole Cake and after the time skip is kind of a blur for me.
From like Fishman Island to Dressrosa, basically, you don't know what the heck's going on.
Nah.
That's fine. You don't really need to. Bits and pieces. You know who Doflamingo is. That's pretty much all you need. It's like,
everyone loves Doflamingo. I'm like,
oh yeah, Doflamingo's the best, man. He feels like a Kingdom Hearts character.
His design is cool, but I mean, like, he's like a piece of shit.
He literally is. He's an Organization 13 member.
Ah, man, not all Organization.
Throw that man in a coat, he totally would be an Organization 13 member. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, well, we'll see about that. All right, now, I'll give it a shot. I'm invested.
I still, by the way, I wanted to ask you too, very briefly. Have you beaten Neo World Ends With You yet? Because I haven't even had the chance to play it yet.
I've played it, but I haven't beaten it. Don't no spoilers, no spoilies.
Well, no spoilers here either.
Yeah.
Like I said, I haven't played it. I want to. I've been dying to play that game. Literally, I mean, we talked about this when we were in Japan together. That's one of my favorite games of all time.
Oh yeah,
So,
I know. That's why I'm like
full-on sequel. I know it's good. I have it sitting on my Switch. I just haven't had time to play it. I'm dying to play it.
Have you been too invested in
one of these when we beat it?
Yo, I'm down. Yo, have you been too invested in Naruto or something?
So I've been I've been doing the Naruto streams 3 times a week.
Right.
I've been doing my regular One Piece content, my solo level link content. Obviously, there's been a lot of Nintendo news. I currently have 3 sponsorship deals going on at the same time that have been happening since 3 months ago.
Jesus.
And all of them are for multi-video series. So I am like burning the candle at both ends right now. And I've been traveling. I'm leaving town for like about a week and a half in about 2 weeks for something else. And then I'm going to be leaving again in November. So yeah, I'm going like crazy.
Bro, I honestly thought you were gonna go to Past West, and I'm like, dude, I'm like, wait a minute. I was
No,
able to
because
book
I
you for
did that.
today.
I did the lore thing with Misclick.
Yeah, she was telling me about that on the last episode.
And we were talking about it, and she's like, "Oh, you're totally coming to Too Many Games, right?" I'm like, "Hell no, I don't know when I'm gonna have time to go anywhere. Like,
Jeez.
I'm not coming to that." And she's like, "Were you going to PAX?" I'm like, "Nope, I'm not going anywhere. This year is like I'm booked."
Man, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm glad.
You know,
I'm glad before all this shut down that we were able to like hang out in Japan. I'm glad we have that memory.
Same.
Oh man,
Absolutely. I'm sure we will again.
Hopefully, bro, man. The funniest thing about that is that the year after that trip and when the lockdown happened,
right.
me and a group, we had all the money and booking and everything saved up, and then we couldn't go.
Same. We were going to go at the end of last year. We were going to start. So we started in Kyoto and then went up to Tokyo last time. You guys were in Tokyo the entire time, right? Or did you go anywhere else?
No, we were in Tokyo, but then we were able to visit Osaka and Kyoto on separate days.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Because you did the reverse of what we did.
Yeah.
That's right. And then we met in Tokyo. But what we were going to do is start in Tokyo and then go north to Hokkaido during the winter of last year and stay at like one of the onsen resorts.
Hokkaido's really nice in the winter.
Doing it. Oh yeah, it would have been amazing. So, oh well.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Exactly.
I mean, I was able to
of course, all the Marvel stuff's been coming out. We've been watching all the Marvel stuff too, with like Loki and now What If, and then the new Spider-Man's coming out. It's just like there's so much this year in particular. I still haven't even beaten Skyward Sword again. I got up to the Lane 8 room mine and then I had to put it down. I didn't have time to play it more, but like I want to fully replay that. Metroid Dread's coming in like 3 weeks. The OLED Switch is coming soon. We're potentially going to get a Nintendo Direct. There's all this news. It's just like there's too much, man. There's too much.
But today you're going to take a breather and we're going to talk about some Xenoblade.
100%, of course.
Man, I was able to beat No More Heroes 3 like 2 days ago. And I'm like, yes. And then I had doing a couple of sponsorships for Square Enix. And then I haven't been able to touch the one. And so I haven't beat Skyward Sword again myself either. And I've been playing a lot of fucking Genshin too. Like, holy shit, man.
I haven't even played Genshin once yet. Not even once.
It's no. Wait. Your scheduling that's dangerous. Your scheduling is dangerous, bro.
I know I would love it. It's like Breath of the Wild anime. I mean, I know I would like it with gacha mechanics. That's one and done, man. I mean, you're speaking my language, but can't do it.
It's dangerous. Like, everyone, make sure every time you appear up on a RogersBase stream, tell them like no Genshin, no Genshin,
no Genshin, no Genshin. Not until it's got to come to Switch. And it's got to be a sponsorship, and then I'll do it.
Bro,
that's my,
wow, all right.
Okay. By them and it's got to be at Switch, then I'll play.
I'm telling you right now.
I got no other time. I can't do it, man.
The Switch version, it's not real. I don't think it's coming. I don't think it's coming.
For sure. I for sure think it's coming. Yeah.
Bro,
I feel very strongly that it's coming.
I don't think so, man, because like the way the game runs on PS4 Pro, my lord.
We'll see, man.
Unless they modify the hell out of that game and stuff. And it's fun because the game runs on Unity, so I mean, you would think it would be no problem to run on the Switch.
Yeah, and I mean, you could play it on mobile. Like pretty much any phone can play Genshin Impact.
Yeah, but like at what cost?
Well, I mean, it runs fine on like a regular iPhone. So if an iPhone can run it, I'm sure a Switch can.
Well, we'll hopefully we'll see about that, but
we'll see.
Man, I want to be hopeful because like it's been a year since Genshin has been out. I want to be hopeful that Genshin is gonna come to the Switch this year. You know,
Well, I mean, we'll see if there does end up being a Nintendo Direct and they end up announcing stuff. I feel like that would be a perfect little announcement to throw in there.
Oh,
we get the
definitely.
rumors of there being like the Game Boy coming to the Switch Online,
like Game Boy and Game Boy Color.
And Game Boy Color.
Yeah.
So curiously, like, what Game Boy games would you want to see on there? Because I feel like of all the libraries of all the Nintendo systems, the original Game Boy and Game Boy Color is relatively lacking compared to like NES, Super Nintendo, N64 even. Are there any games in particular that stand out that you'd really want to play?
I mean, like Super Mario Land, Wario Land,
that's like what
the Oracle games, like the Oracle games. Yeah, definitely the Oracle games.
Okay, the Oracle games, that's fair. But like we already have Link's Awakening as a remake on Switch, so I don't really need Link's Awakening. I really want, if they're gonna do it, I really want them to port over the Metal Gear Solid game that was on Game Boy Color. That game is phenomenal, and I don't think it's ever been re-released anywhere. So I would love that. Pokemon trading card game I think would be really cool, or Pokemon Pinball. And then, of course, like the Joy-Cons already have built-in gyroscopes, so something like Kirby Tilt and Tumble would be neat too.
Yeah. And then people are like, "Oh yeah, Samus 2." I'm like, "No, you don't. Samus 2.
We got Samus Returns.
I know. Yo, I'm telling you, even if we didn't get Samus Returns, you do not want to play Metroid 2.
No,
Metroid
you don't want to
2,
play
that
Metroid 2.
game is rough.
No. You're saying that as I'm holding in my hand a Metroid amiibo because I'm currently replaying Samus Returns right now in my spare time. So.
All right, good. Like Samus Returns, the 3DS remake, right?
Oh, it's goated. Yeah. For
sure.
No,
that's I want to say that's the best remake I've ever played in my life.
Have you been? You've played all of the 2D Metroid games before, right?
Yeah.
Are you playing them again in the lead up to Dread?
No, probably because like I really don't want to dust off my Wii U again in order to play Fusion. But I might play Super Metroid again. So.
Yeah, it was good because I did Zero Mission 3 weeks ago, completed all of it, and then like I said, I'm currently doing Samus Returns. I think I'm gonna stream Super Metroid in 2 weeks. Nobody even on my channel knows this, but like exclusive on HMKs, I guess. I'm doing Super Metroid week, and then following Super Metroid week, I'm gonna do Fusion on my own because I've got the GBA cartridge, and that'll take me to release week of Dread. So yeah, hopefully I'll be all done with the entire 2D series before then.
Nice. But this talk has been good about Metroid and stuff. But
no, we don't need Xenoblade, of course.
Yeah, exactly. I only have you here for an hour, so let's get out of that tangent here. So Xenoblade Chronicles. All right. Of course, you guys have heard the rumors that Xenoblade Chronicles 3 could have an impending announcement on the horizon if we do get a Nintendo Direct this month, and of course all the spiel with Monolith Soft and whatever. But I wanted to ask you a couple of questions to get that that hype around Xenoblade. So. First, we're going to ask some questions about Xenoblade Chronicles. We're going to move on to X, and then we're going to move on to 2. Xenoblade Chronicles 1. Roger, there's only one correct answer, and chat, you already know there's only one correct answer. What is your team setup in Xenoblade Chronicles?
Okay, you're not going to like my setup. I tell you right now, you're not going to like it.
No!
It's Melia, Riki, and Shulk.
Bro, I'm about to fucking strangle you. What? You don't put Melia and Riki on the same. No,
it's always been Melia, Riki, and Shulk. Yeah.
How do you
play
this game?
They're the most broken in terms of tackling like late game monsters. When you're actually playing through the game, obviously Sharla's a nice crutch to have, where you have her healing constantly.
Whoa! You use Sharla?
Well, Sharla's a crutch, like I said. If you need somebody to like relatively heal you, I think that's a good one when you're playing through the game for the first time. I don't really like Fiora. I don't usually have Fiora on my team at all.
So you use end game. How are you gonna tell me you're gonna use Melia and Riki in end game when Fiora's right there?
I use Riki and Melia in end game. I always have. Yeah, both in my original. In fact. Because I've played through the entirety of Xenoblade Chronicles, the original 3 times. I've played it on Wii. No, 4 times. Because I played it on Wii. I played it on 3DS, whatever it's called. I almost called it Special 3DS. What's it called? The 3DS, New 3DS. New 3DS. I played New 3DS. The Wii Virtual Console version on Wii U. And the Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition on Switch. And every single time, I've ended the game with Riki, Melia, and Shulk. Every single time.
All right, so guys, you need to understand, Roger is wrong, because the one and only team that you always need in any situation. I mean, you want to swap in Melia, that's fine. You want to swap in Fiora for end game monsters like they're not called tyrants in
it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing. They're basically tyrants. They'll come tyrants. All right.
Yeah.
The team is Shulk, Dunban, and Riki. That's the team.
See, Dunban is good for staggering, but honestly, I feel
Electric Nut Buster! What? Like,
nah. I think for like really, really late game monsters, it's better. Well, it depends on what you want to do. If you want to safely defeat the monsters and take a long time doing it, I think Dunban's probably the better choice. But I feel like if you really just quickly want to get through a boss with more risk reward, then you go with Melia.
Man, what am I out here trying to do risk reward?
Also, like, the way you were talking to me earlier, you were like, I can't believe that setup. That's wild. You have two of the same characters that I do. Only difference is I swapped out Dunban with Melia.
Yeah, exactly, right? It's Ricky and Dunban, because Dunban acts as the aggro sponge, and then you're like, oh yeah, but Charlotte's good for healing.
Yeah,
No,
you don't. I use Ricky as the aggro sponge.
No, that's disgusting. How, bro?
Well, it works though. It works nicely.
No, but if he goes down, you go down. Like what?
No. And then you do the, what's it called? The happy time or whatever. The thing that like heals you, where he spits out like the powder that heals you.
Exactly. You don't need Charlotte for healing, because like, bro,
hey, I don't have. I didn't say Charlotte.
I know,
said
but you're like,
when
oh,
you're
Charlotte's
through
good.
the game for the for the first time before you get Riki, she's like a crutch to have throughout the course of the game, where you can have her constantly healing your team. But once you get Riki, you don't need Charlotte.
Exactly. So. Man.
Right, but we agree. Wait, so the only difference we have in our teams is Dunban and Melia. The way you said it was like blasphemy.
Yeah, no, because you're like, no, because like the blasphemy part is that like you put Melia and Riki together. No, like if you're gonna put Melia in there, you put Melia with Fiora, you put Melia with Dunban or whatever, in order to
what is this? Your chat just said, gonna get this off my chest. If the only reason you don't use Fiora is because you're mad she ends up with Shulk instead of Melia, that's stupid. Why would I be mad?
Yeah, why would I be
Shulk
mad?
Ends up with Fiora. Good. Let Shulk have Fiora.
Right?
Melia's the best. What the heck? Why would I care, bro? That's good. Let Shulk and Fiora be together.
I love all Xenoblade characters, man. Like those
two. I mean, I love the whole cast.
Man, I feel bad that Ryan. Like I love Ryan, but as soon as you get Dunban, like I'm sorry, Ryan. Like
no, Dunban is cool.
Like Dunban does Ryan's job like 100% better. It's crazy.
Yeah,
man. But considering the whole story of Xenoblade Chronicles, just so you know, this stream is going to be a spoiler stream for Xenoblade Chronicles, all the games.
Oh, that was already a given.
It's over. Especially if we're talking about Fiora, Mecha Fiora, and all that.
Oh yeah, it's done.
Good jazz. I want to ask one other question. What is your favorite moment in Xenoblade Chronicles 1?
Oh, I actually have the moment I remember when I played through the first time that made me go, oh my god, this is such an amazing game, and like I hope they make more of these, is the Metal Face official reveal on the mountain in Xenoblade Chronicles, where you get like Metal Face and Fiora. That whole entire sequence on the mountain I think is so good. The swell of the da 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 as he's giving his speech as they fly off the mountain, and you have like the snow, and it ends with that shot of him going Fiora, and then like the camera zooms out. I remember the first time I played through that being like, oh my god, I am completely invested in this cast, in this story, in this world. And so time and time again, that's kind of the moment where, especially because like up to that point in the story, it's pretty obvious that Metal Face is, what's his face? The dude with the claws. I can't remember his real name. What's his real name?
Whatever. It starts with Mumkar. There you go. So yeah,
that's right. So like up to that point in the game, you pretty much know that that's Mumkar. But to actually see it happen and then have that fight in the snow, it's just so much fun. Yeah, that's probably my original favorite moment. Yeah, my
favorite moment in Xenoblade is like I love the twists and turns, especially finding out that there's people in the Mechonuses and whatever. Not Mechonuses, but Mechon. But my favorite spin is that, you know, learning the truth of what's this of Klaus, the truth of Klaus, the truth of the god and stuff, because the whole time we thought that the god was like the big giant dude, right? But then that was just another vessel that
Sansa.
Sansa,
of course.
We thought that was just another vessel that Klaus was using and whatever. And then when you find out like, oh, Xenoblade is like a dead universe type shit where like it's a dead like a restart universe from a dead universe. Well, not really a dead universe. It was like, you know, like it was one of those aspects where the universe gets restarted by the curiosity of man, right? And that was a really cool way to show off the ending, and then have Shulk reset the universe in his own way. And then, like, you know, every time people ask me like, oh, who would win in a fight between Sora and Shulk, and I'm like, listen, I love Kingdom Hearts, and if we're talking about in their prime, Shulk will absolutely clap Sora, absolutely. right?
Oh yeah,
Because
100% Shulk would
yeah.
clap Sora. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's not even a question.
Because like whenever people ask me those questions, I'm like, okay, see, this is how I know you haven't played Xenoblade.
Right,
if
because
you
like
played
Sora,
Xenoblade-
I mean, Sora is obviously very strong and has a lot
Yeah.
of cool powers and stuff, but Shulk is, but I mean, again, spoiler, but like, he's a god by the end of Xenoblade. Sora's not killing a god. Like, you know, Shulk is absolutely beating Sora 1v1. Unless, of course, Sora gets in Smash Bros, in which case, then we can have a debate.
Oh, and when it happens, I'll be like, ooh, it's gonna
I hope
happen.
so, man. I think that'd be cool. We got one more character left, so we'll see.
One more character. All right, now moving a little, like, because we're gonna get back to Xenoblade Chronicles 1, but now we're moving on to Xenoblade Chronicles X. Xenoblade Chronicles X. I've seen a lot of people that when we were talking about the whole notion of the possibility of Xenoblade Chronicles 3 coming, like, being announced or whatever, I've seen a lot of people talk about, hey, why not a Xenoblade Chronicles remake or a Xenoblade Chronicles X remake, remaster, or maybe even a sequel? Because I want to get your piece about this. I loved Xenoblade Chronicles X, but bro, that was not an ending. That game does not have an ending.
Oh yeah, I mean the ending is a cliffhanger. It's an enormous
no,
cliffhanger.
No, that's not. No. Like Roger, a cliffhanger is one thing. This was nothing. It was literally nothing. What are we cliffhanging to? Tell me, what are we cliffhanging to?
Whatever the next game is, right? You're talking about like when Elma's in her alien form at the end of it, right? And then she walks into the thing and it's like, oh, the battery's been dead for like a year or so.
What's keeping us alive?
Right, what's keeping us alive?
And
I mean, that's a complete cliffhanger. That's where the game ends.
No, the game ends when we see a shadowy figure walk towards Laos on a beach. And I'm like, what does that even mean?
Oh, yeah, but that's... because you don't know if Laos is dead or not. Right.
And then who's the cloaked figure? Like...
Yeah, I mean...
Was it Kingdom Hearts?
I assumed it was Shulk the first time I played through the game.
That's opium.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I thought it was the first time I played through it. And then the more I thought about it, the more I do think that Xenoblade Chronicles X is just like a branch off of... And I think this is what they meant with it the first time, right? Because X is cross in Japan. They don't call it Xenoblade X. It's like cross. I think it's meant to be like an alternate sort of universe that eventually crosses over into the mainline universe. And I mean, we'll talk about this a little bit later, but when I say mainline universe, I mean the world of Xenoblade 1 and the world of Xenoblade 2. Because by the end of Xenoblade 2, spoilers, the universe is combined basically, right? Where you've got Zanza, both of his parts are... both of his parts are gone by the end of the game. You've got Rex there. Well, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we're going to talk
discussion of 3. Yeah. But like, I do kind of feel like those universes are going to merge for whatever the next game is going to be.
They are.
Yeah,
but I don't think they're merged right now. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I think the end of 2, the very end of 2, where all the Titans are becoming a continent.
Right.
I think that is meant to be the merging of their universes. I think that that's where we have the crossovers. Whereas X, when I played it the first time, I love the game. I think like I love the open world stuff. I love the skills. I think the action is really fun. I thought the twist of the dolls was also really cool too. When you find out that you're all a bunch of robots, like that was neat.
I love that. Yeah.
But I think the thing. And the reason why X is my least favorite of the 3, like unequivocally, is the cast. Because outside of Elma, I really don't care about anybody else. I really don't. I didn't like the weird 16-year-old girl character. I didn't like the Napon main character that was in that game.
Hated that dude. Oh my lord.
And I wasn't even that compelled by Laos either. I was intrigued by the idea of the blades, and I loved Elma, but that's kind of like the only thing that kept me playing in terms of the characters and the story. Like the thing that kept me engrossed with Xenoblade Chronicles X was the gameplay. Like flying around these beautiful open world environments, amazing action. I would argue maybe the best soundtrack of the series. You have Sawano in there.
Easy.
I mean, it's so good. But the highs of X for me, while they're super high, I think don't outweigh the lows, which compared to the other Xenoblade games and the things that I love about Xenoblade as a whole, the story and the characters and things like that, to me, that's why X is the weakest.
Right. Now, I definitely like understand that, especially considering that, you know, they were developing the game with gameplay first in mind. Like the story took a back burner, and it was very apparent in the game. And I felt it had its charms. Like it had its moments in the story, which was really cool. And I loved Elma. Like Elma is easily, like, people will argue that Cross, which is the main, which is like the character that you're supposed to
avatar.
Yeah, your avatar.
Right.
Like the official name of that character is Cross. They're like, oh, Cross is the main character. I'm like, no, Elma's the main character.
It's Elma for sure.
That's why I was really hoping that Elma was gonna come to Smash. But then when we saw that,
she'd be so sick, man.
Exactly.
I mean, this is honestly what I think, and we'll get into this a little bit later. But I think Well, you know what? I'll save it. But just keep in mind the Elma talking point, because we will get to it for sure.
Yeah. So like, can you imagine Overdrive and Smash? But
it'd be so good. The final Smash, of course, jumping into a skull
and like
just slashing on the stage and stuff would be great. Yeah.
So on the point of whatchamacallit, Xenoblade Chronicles X or Cross, whatever, how it integrates into the overall story, in which, you know, we could possibly see something like that coming into contact with Xenoblade Chronicles 3, because the rumor has it is going to combine the stories of Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2 and possibly X. Is that I always felt that, you know, in the beginning of time, when it comes to Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2, and at the end of 2, you find out that 2 and 1 are products of the same universe that split off, right?
Right.
And that I feel, and it's a theory, it has been confirmed yet, but I feel that the big war that you know, New Los Angeles, the gray whale, the white whale, was trying to evacuate, I feel that was the same war that was going down, that they were trying to get after the Trinity processor, right? The war that we see at the end of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and then, like, you know, the experiment that happens at the end of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and the end of Xenoblade Chronicles 1 with Klaus and Galea. Is this, like, what's happening in Xenoblade Chronicles X, that war is the same war that's happening at the end of 2 that you see in the background.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think it's a branch of the multiverse, right? You've got like the X universe, and then you've got, while there are 2 branches, 1 and 2, like I said, ultimately I do think they will be connected. And you're gonna have the characters intertwining and things like that. Or maybe even if the universes don't connect, I think the characters will for sure.
No, I definitely believe that with 3, that the Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2 universe are going to intersect. I still think they're separate at this point in time, at the end of both 1 and 2, and that X is actually the true-ish universe. If it's weird because, you know, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is like the remains of our planet, our universe is obviously there, while the creation of the new universe that was made by the Trinity processor resulted in the universe that we see in 1. But X, I feel, is like a little bit of a tangent, like, between that of, like, I feel it's like kind of like limbo outside and inside of the universe, of the original universe that we see decaying in 2. I think that's X's universe. Like, and that's just me spitballing of, like, oh, like, if there's going to be a connection going to be made, that's what I feel. But
okay, so let me bring this up then real quick, because I'm glad you say that, because I will go into the point that I was going to bring up is, you know, there's a lot of rumors leading to Xenoblade Chronicles 3 right now, right? They're already in the process of, I mean, we know this already. They're in the process of doing the music and the voice acting. That's a done deal. We know this already. We've seen pictures at the studio. So that's happening for sure. The game, I think, has been in development for quite a long time, probably since Torna, if not before then.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably
when
after
Torna
the main
was finished.
Game. Right.
Easily.
So it's been in development for a long time. And in addition to that, we have Jenna Coleman, the voice actress of Melia, saying they're doing another one. Sky has alluded that they're doing another one, the voice actress for Pyra and Mithra. I really, truly feel like the characters that are quote-unquote immortal, the ones that can, either the Blades, the dolls, even potentially from Xenoblade X, and the characters that are related to Telethia, characters like Melia, are probably the ones that we're going to see converging and, like, interacting with each other in whatever the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is. And I do ultimately believe that this is sort of like a best-case scenario, because everybody loves Elma from Xenoblade Chronicles X, everybody loves Melia from the original Xenoblade Chronicles, and everybody loves Pyra and Mithra. And this would be a fantastic way to merge all of those characters into one storyline and have them all converge at the same time, because, again, they're either immortal or they live for thousands of years. There's no real, like, and Shulk's a god at this point too. If they want to throw Shulk in there or Fiora in there, they can do that as well. Fiora's got, well, no, at the end of the game she has her Hom's body at the end of Xenoblade 1, but, like, Shulk can do whatever.
Nah, because Shulk gave up his godhood. He's like, oh, a world without gods. So
actually, you're right. Yeah. He does. So maybe not Shulk, but at the very least, Melia, Pyra, Mithra, and then Elma, if they do decide to cross over the Xenoblade X stuff. You're right.
Right. So, like,
and Nia lives forever as well, because Nia was a blade.
Yeah, and she's a blade eater. Wait, is she a blade or a flesh eater? Fuck, I keep getting those mixed up.
Oh yeah, I forgot the flesh eater thing. Well, I mean, she lives forever regardless. It's not I mean, Nia still lives. So
right. So and with that aspect in mind, I feel like it's gonna be really funny that the main 3 protagonists, quote unquote, from the first 3 games might have passed on, or may it not be in the game. Like Shulk might have passed
Cross,
on,
Shulk,
Cross is
and
not going to be
Rex.
there, and Rex, exactly.
Right.
So it's going to be
Right.
focusing on the characters that, you know, they interact with most, with, you know, well, most, because, you know, with Future Connected, Melia has been a lot more important than Fiora for a long time. So
yeah, and you have Future Connected obviously setting up ties for things with Melia and future games. You've got those weird fog monsters. You know, what the heck's going on with those? I mean, there's a lot of interesting stuff that's happening in Xenoblade right now that I feel like can lead to some amazing story potential with whatever the next game is going to be. And I still think we're going to have an original protagonist in the next game as well. But I think they clearly know now what characters are the fan favorites, and it just so happens that many of them are either undying or can live for thousands of years. So that's great for the franchise because they continuously can bring them back, and it's great for future Smash games as well because then it gives characters like Melia and Elma, who aren't already in it, more of a chance to shine in future iterations.
Elma, please. Now, here's a question now that we're dialing towards Xenoblade Chronicles X. And it doesn't have to be a main story character. It could be anyone that you've possibly collected. What's your favorite blade?
Ooh, this is such a basic one, but honestly, Pyra and Mithra. I mean, I know.
Okay,
that's
all right,
basic,
rephrase. Not of the ones that they give you. So, no Nia. No Pyra, Mithra, no Morag. Wait, no Morag.
Poppy.
No Poppy. It's not Morag. What was her name? Morag's blade. I forgot her name.
Bridget.
Bridget. No Bridget. Brigit.
Oh,
Brigit.
that's tough.
No Bridget. And the samurai one either that her brother used. All right. So none of the
And
story
no
ones.
I can't say Cosmos either, right? Cosmos is out of there.
No, you can say Cosmos if you want. If you want to be
She's kind of like the main character of the
did
Saga
you?
games.
No, did you pull Cosmos?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Lucky bastard. All right.
Yeah, I got lucky.
Nah, then you can say Cosmos if you want. That's fine. That's completely
No, I'm not gonna
fair.
say Cosmos.
All right.
I'm not gonna say Cosmos. I'm gonna say. Well, you say yours, then I'm gonna think about it real quick. Let me think about it.
All right, mine that I pulled. Damn, I really like Ursula, but.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna tell you why I'm not choosing Ursula.
Oh,
Ursula's New Groove.
Yeah.
Oh
I knew it. I knew it.
Yes,
she's such a good she's such a good blade,
no,
but it takes fucking forever to level up. Oh my god. Yeah, no, I'm telling you, I powered through that and it's worth it. But I understand. I understand. Okay, so if it's not Ursula,
I think I'm gonna go with Harold. I think.
Ooh,
I
Harold's
really
a good
like
one.
Harold.
That's
a really good one. Yeah, I like the electric elements, the ether cannon, just the design of the character. Yeah, I think Harold's really cool. I would probably go with Harold. In terms of like other ones though, that like I said, all my favorites are like main characters. I like the girl that's like Phosphora from Kid Icarus Uprising. What's her name?
I don't think I have her yet.
The girl with the knuckle claws?
Oh, Cora. Yeah, no, wait, is it Cora?
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Cora.
I got her. Yeah, she's cool.
I like her.
Yeah. All right, one of my favorites, if for one of my favorites, not my absolute favorites that I really like, I got her early, Zenobia.
Oh yeah, Zenobia is great.
Oh man, she does so much damage and she synchronizes really, really well and stuff. And Chuck, I wanted to say Corvin, but I felt that's cheating. I can't say Corvin. I wanted to say Corvin, trust me, but I feel that's cheating.
How is that cheating?
Because you didn't earn him. He's like a DLC that they gave you. You know what I mean?
Oh, I guess that's true. Yeah, that comes from the DLC.
They gave you that. You know, Corvin's great. Corvin's boss. I use Corvin. I love Corvin, but that's not fair. I mean, that's not fair.
What was the other one's name? Crossette or something?
The firecracker chick, right?
Yeah.
Like Cosette or something.
There's
a bunch of different names, man.
There's a lot of different blades, man.
Yeah, Cosette. I still don't have Cosmos. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, funny. And I was about to say, I'm like, actually, I had to earn them. You know, fine. No, I'll say it. My favorite blades are Shulk and Elma because I had to earn them. I had to earn them. All right. Elma as a blade is actually pretty. Bro, that boss fight was
awesome,
that boss fight was so stupid. Now I hate it.
And the dual swords. And
I hated her boss fight. Her boss fight was dummy. Like, bro,
it's great.
That shit's impossible if you don't have Shulk, man.
Yeah.
Ugh, disgusting. But gearing off of Xenoblade Chronicles 2,
Yes.
what was your favorite moment in that game? Since we were talking about our favorite moments from Xenoblade Chronicles 1.
Oh my god, dude, there's so because I think we had this discussion a couple years ago on a Game of the Year discussion, how much I love 2, and I would argue that I think I like 2 even more than 1. Though I do.
That's fair. That's fair.
The game of 1 I think is better overall, but the cast, I mean, I love the cast in Xenoblade 1 as well, but the cast in 2, I just genuinely like all of them. Oh man, a favorite moment in 2. There's seriously so many. I'm gonna go with obviously the Zeke fight where Mythra slaps Rex into the camera is hysterical. That's one of my favorite moments in the whole game. But this is a weird one. I would say when they're in the tomb area and Nia awakens as a blade, and you have that moment where she says, I love you to Rex, and Rex goes, I love you too, Nia. I love you and Pyra and Mythra and Zeke. I love everyone.
Bro, I was like, when that happened, I'm like,
that is such a good scene. I love that. So that's got to be one of them too. I'd say that's got to be one. And then of course the sacrifice at the end of the game as well.
No, I don't need to cry. I don't need to cry. I don't need to cry.
You know, they tell Poppy to let them go, and oh man, and Poppy's crying, saying I had to keep it to you as a secret. Like, oh my god, it's so good. All the stuff on the world tree honestly is like amazing. I love the fight with Jin, the music that plays during that sequence, the stuff. It's just so good,
man. When it comes to one of my favorite moments, I felt like there's just so many good moments in the game. Like I really like the moments where the architect was showing Rex all of like, you know, the illusions and stuff. That whole segment I really liked. And like it shows how human Rex is, like despite everything he does to try and help other people, because like he's a good soul. He's not greedy or anything like that, because he has a lot of good morals thanks to the salvager code. But then seeing him break down at the end of all that just makes you realize once again, like, yo, he's still a kid. Like, he's still a child in all of this, right? And, like, he was trying so hard to say, and like, that really speaks to the character and the humanity of Rex. And I was like, you know, despite everything, he tries to do good. He tries to help his friends. He tries to help anyone he can. He tries to help Pyra and Mythra reach Elysium and whatever. And then going through all of that leading up to when Pyra and Mythra was, like, you know, feeding him dinner. And then they're like, oh, we're being nice. And, like, you know, let's have a good lunch. And then, like, everything that's happened before, just seeing him slowly but surely just fucking break down. I'm like, fuck! That's,
I do love, you mentioned Pyra and Mythra and the dinner thing. I really do love that scene when you go back to Rex's hometown.
Yep.
That's a really good one where you like go to the house and you meet with the other kids. I really do like that scene as well. I love, a bunch of people in your chat were mentioning it too, the ending of chapter 3, like where you meet Mythra for the first time.
Yeah.
Because you're coming off of this like really heartfelt death. And then you go right into this tsundere character. They're like, who the hell is this? Who are you, Pyra? Like, what's going on here? What's the deal with you? So I'd say the end of chapter 3 is great. And then even another one, I have so many good moments, but another one I think for me too is the first time you walk out into Morordain and you hear da 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 da.
Man, I really like the music of Morordain, but I hate the look, bro.
Oh, see, I'm the opposite.
No, man, industrial.
I love like the half industrial, like mountain feel of it.
Sand,
I love it,
like the world of brown, bro.
To me, in fact, that was the quote unquote Gower Plain moment for me for 2, because you get to that first area in Gormott, and I'm like, okay, this is basically Gower Plain. But then when you get to Morordain and you see this like huge mountainous locale with this industrial setting to it with this amazing music, that to me was the moment where everything kind of clicked.
Like, listen, it's just too muddy. Like, I love desert levels. I love desert levels. I love mountain levels. But I just need like Roger, I'm only asking for a little bit of contrast, a little bit, and I feel Morordain did not give me any contrast. It was like the same 4 sets of colors. Like,
that's fair.
That's why I'm like a little bit, just a little bit. Like whenever there was an ether storm, I'm like, oh yes, finally color. Like.
You were mentioning characters that like our favorite blades are, or characters that we want to come back for a future Xenoblade game. You know who I want to come back? Captain Predrag. That's who I want to come back. I need him to say, "Don't forget me. Think you can take me" in a future Xenoblade game.
He's the fucking reason I set that shit to Japanese, man, bro. Like,
think you can take me?
You think you can take me? And then, bro, can you...
Don't forget me.
No.
Don't forget me,
Roger.
You can take me.
Roger. I literally almost had an aneurysm when I saw that Mythra has that line in Smash. Think you could take me? I'm like, I'm fucking done. I'm out of here. I'm out. No. I was having PTSD,
I'm like, oh
and I'm
my
like,
God, yes.
Like the fucking
yes,
the war zones in the back of my mind, like which like you can take me,
no,
and I'm like,
meta. I loved it. No,
I was
disagree.
like,
I disagree.
No.
That was fantastic,
bro.
If the future Smash Bros games only have one taunt,
take out that line. Take out that line. The next Smash game, take out that line.
All
right.
Just do the thing. You can take me. Don't forget me. That's it.
It's like, think you take me, and then I hear Mythra say, and I'm like, you know what? It's funny because you know what? Like people and like fucking Fidel streaming right now, and we're gonna raid his ass after this. And I'm like, think you take me, and I look at Mythra and it's like, okay, yeah, you're saying that line, yeah, that's why Pyra's better. That's why Pyra's always been better. Yeah.
I mean, I've always said this. I'm Team Pyra Supremacy as well. I agree, Pyra's better. However, I do like that that little taunt in Smash.
I hate it. I honestly get I get instant mad whenever I'm playing against someone online and then they do that line. I'm like, don't use that fuck whatever.
You definitely have to when we raid Fidel, that should be the raid message.
Yeah,
we all just
that's
think
fine.
You can take me.
We're gonna do that. All right, keep it in like commit it to memory, guys. So another one of my favorite cutscenes or favorite moments in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was and you can ask my fiance. I got to this part with my fiance and I was like literally tapping her. I'm like, oh my god, babe, when they when chapter 8 boy meets girl and it was showing the tower and I'm like, oh my god, so and then like and then I see Klaus. I'm like, I'm like, bro, I was freaking out. I'm like, dude, this is Xenoblade 1, and he presses the button and I'm like, and then like it all comes together.
That's so good too, because then it comes together and you're instantly like, okay, so Malos is one of them, Pyra/Mythra is another one, right? And then like the third one, is that Elvis? Is that Elvis from the original Xenoblade? Like what's going on?
Yeah, Elvis. That's Elvis.
So
that's
good.
Elvis.
Oh, I know it is, but I'm saying like when you first get to that point in the story and you're thinking back on the connections, and then you hear the voice and you're like, oh my god, I think this is Elvis. Like, so cool. I love it.
So like, if you guys didn't know. It's been like completely confirmed that Xenoblade Chronicles 2, that the experiment that Klaus is doing with the Trinity processor is the one that created both the universes of Xenoblade 1 and 2, and it split him in half. Through half of him that became Zanza in Xenoblade Chronicles 1, and then the other half that remained became the Architect.
As Klaus. Right.
Now the Trinity processor was like overseen by 3 sets of cores. Wait, am I getting this right? The Trinity processor.
No, you're right. No, you're right.
Wait, the Trinity processor is the machine, but the conduit. The conduit is the core that's in.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So the conduit was being run by the Trinity processor, and the Trinity processor had 3 cores of their own to help oversee it. And those 3 cores were Numa, Ontos, and
I mean,
Logos,
you could just
Logos.
You could say Pyra, Malos, and Elvis. That's fine.
Yeah,
that's what I always do.
Right, but no, I'm leading into that. So then, Nema went on to become Numa, Nema, whatever. That core went on to become Pyra/Mythra, and that's what we saw. And now Logos went on. Wait, was it Logos or no? Logos went on to be Malos, and then Ontos was the core that was missing that got sent off into the no-no zone along with the Zanza half, right? And then this is one of my favorite parts about Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. They changed the key necklace on Elvis to a core crystal, to a red core crystal that's in the same shape of Pyra's and Malos's, right? And a lot of people are like, oh, that's just a little reference. So I'm like, no, that's
not.
Yeah,
it's retconning.
That's a retcon. That's a retcon. So that really brings down the point that Elvis is Ontos, right? And he even says it himself. It's like when Shulk's like, Elvis, what are you? It's like, you might not understand it, but I'm the computer processor of this experiment that happened and stuff like that. I'm like, bro, he's part of the Trinity processor. He's the 3rd core that went missing. And the fact that Malos' all right, Raj, I'm gonna throw it over to you. The fact that Malos' weapon is what?
Well, the Monado.
Right? Another Monado and stuff. And
Right.
when I was fighting Malus, and I'm like, I was looking at his weapon, I'm like, wait a minute, that kind of looks like a Monado. And he's like, Monado jail. I'm like, oh,
When
here
he
we
starts
go.
saying, yeah, when he starts using Monado moves, that's
The
when you
Monado
realize,
arts, I'm like,
my God.
oh,
Yeah.
Lord. Right?
Yeah.
So, like Alvis is, and he said himself, Alvis like, I am Monado. And like, yes, Alvis is the third Trinity chip, and he's a core, and the weapon that he produces is a Monado, because we all know that all these core crystals. Wait, God, like there's so many. It's core crystals, right? Like core crystals.
Well, core crystals are like what the blades come from.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Right.
When he got awakened, whatever the fuck. Like blades, when they awaken from core crystals, they produce themselves, and they also produce the weapon that they give to their, user that is stronger in their hands than it is in their own hands. And Alvis produced the Monado, and then, bro, God, I love Xenoblade. So,
Oh, it's so good.
I just want to know what happened to Alvis. I mean,
Well, I mean, don't you think? I mean, this is a good transition point, but
Yeah.
don't you think that's going to be the next game, right? Because Malos is out of the picture.
Yeah.
Hyrule, they still exist, but they're officially separated now, so they're not one more thing anymore. And then Alvis still exists in the other Xenoblade universe. I mean, he still
Does
is
he
out there
though?
somewhere.
Do-
Yeah, I think
because
he does. Because he makes the wish, right? Shulk makes the wish with the
Right.
world without the gods or whatever. But Alvis doesn't suddenly like disappear when that happens. I mean, Alvis is still
that's
an
what I
omniscient
think.
being.
I'm like,
yeah. So
a lot of theories and arguments I've seen is that when he does that, he destroys all three Monados.
no, but because, well, I think he thinks that he's destroying the Monados, but in reality, he's not, because obviously two of them don't even exist in that world.
Yeah.
And Alvis is relatively
No,
omniscient.
not those Monados. Alvis was able to produce three Monados. The one that
Right. That's right.
the one that Galea and Zanza use in
Yeah,
themselves,
of course. No, I still think Elvis exists. Yeah, I think
Right.
this is not the last we've seen of it, especially because they made the point to do the core crystal thing on his necklace in Chronicles, like a definitive edition. I think goes without saying that, like, whatever the next game is, if there is going to be a connection between all the characters, we're going to see Alvis, we're going to see Pyra and Mithra, probably see like an older Melia, because obviously like Melia is not immortal, but she just lives for a long time.
Right.
So we'll probably see her as like an adult, or like even maybe a grandma or something like Grandma Melia. I think would be kind of funny.
That would be nice.
Yeah, I think that's what we're going to see. And then if Elma somehow gets involved, again, Elma is, we don't know anything really about her. We don't know at the end of that game, like, what exactly is the true nature of that part of the universe. So if they decide to cross that stuff over, we might get that too. Maybe while she's on the search to figure out what's powering them up, she stumbles into like a wormhole that takes her into the world of whatever 3 is going to be, where Melia and Pyra and Mithra exist.
Exactly. And then, considering that the conduit is still running around, it's not active, but it's
Somewhere.
still there. Like,
Right.
like that's the bro. I need to understand. Like, it's funny because there's like these books that connect to Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2, and apparently like the conduit was found in this like underground tomb in like southern Africa, and I'm like, dude, I need to know the rest of the lore when it comes to where they found this thing. And
we got to go there.
Yeah. And here's another question, which is going to be a hard-hitting question, and it makes a lot of people sad. Do you believe that Pyra and Mithra got their memories wiped at the end of the game?
No, I don't.
A lot of people believe they do.
I just don't. I know they do. I know, but I don't think they do. I don't think they did. No. And I think even if they do, I don't think it's really going to matter in the grand scheme of things, because ultimately I think 3 takes place far future from Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Yeah.
So they've lived out their life with Rex. Rex is dead. They have all the, shared memories with the rest of the squad, because they were all there too. And that's it. So, they're going to reference Poppy and Zeke and all the rest of the characters you know and love from 2. Only difference is the majority of them will probably be dead. Yeah.
Right. So the reason why I asked that question, and Solar Bray actually brings up a good point. They say something through Rex, yes they do, and then the argument is that the lip syncing, what they did not lip sync the game to English. It's all Japanese lip movement, right? And then
and I know where you're going with this, where the lip sync links to like it's like
nice to meet you,
Watashiwa Homura or something. Where right.
Nice to meet you. My name is Homura. Yeah.
Right.
So with that being said, like, and then also the tagline of the ending or the last chapter where boy meets girl, where he's like, oh, that's their meeting for the first time. And I'm like, I'm reading this whole thing, and I'm like, man, I
don't think so. I think even if their memories were wiped, I think the characters that weren't wiped, right, that were present at the end of the story, fill them in on everything, so they know what happens, you know.
But still, like, you know,
I mean, even if their memory is wiped, I don't think it's going to make any difference whatsoever for the story moving forward.
Man, we're not talking about moving forward. I'm talking about, like, man, like their memories. Okay.
But it's like, it's one of those endings where it's like, it could go one of two ways. It doesn't really matter, but both of the endings are relatively happy endings, right? It's like Inception. Like, when you watch the movie Inception, you see the top start to fall, but then it cuts out before the top falls. Now, either the top falls and he's in his reality with his kids, or the top continues to go, but it doesn't matter at this point because he has his happy ending and he's living blissfully in this dream with his kids. So either way, it's a happy ending. Either way, at the end of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Rex is with, you know, Pyra and Mithra. It is what it is, whether she has her memories back or not.
Yeah, but I mean, like, at what cost? And then another question I was gonna ask is that going into Xenoblade Chronicles 3, because I mean that's the big rumor on the table right now. I hope we get a Nintendo Direct next week.
Sure.
Would you want them to either adapt, like, if we're gonna get a Xenoblade Chronicles 3, would you want them to adapt Xenoblade Chronicles 1 battle system or Xenoblade Chronicles 2 battle system, or maybe something new entirely for the game?
Oh man, that's tough.
And then I also cycles into the question, which battle system you like better?
I mean, my favorite battle system is still Overdrive stuff from.
No, we're not talking. We're not talking about X. We're talking about.
No, I know. But I'm saying that's my favorite of the three. I would say. I mean, I personally liked like the elemental stuff in Xenoblade 2.
Right.
But I do think if they're gonna go with like a new system based on one of the other ones, I would prefer they use one as the base and then change something up with that. Especially because like I've played through 2, I think 3 times plus Torna. And I've obviously really enjoyed the battle system, but I do think that Xenoblade Chronicles, especially after last year when I played Definitive Edition, is still probably my favorite of those 2 mainline games. Yeah, so I'd say probably Xenoblade 1. Yeah.
Right. You know, it's funny because as much as I really, really do love Xenoblade Chronicles 1's battle system, but there is something about 2 that really, really hooked me. Like, maybe it's to go far as to, like, say that the fact that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has Smash and Xenoblade Chronicles 1 doesn't. Right, and I'm like, because I mean, like, okay, like, you know, break, topple, launch. And I'm like, okay, that's cool in Xenoblade Chronicles 1, but then they added Smash afterwards, and I'm like, in 2. And then, also, I like, is it just me or the moves feel more crunchy? And then also the fact that the blade, like, you know, the blades that power up your stats over time, like, the more they're close to. Okay, yeah, I really like Xenoblade Chronicles 2's battle system.
I do really like the battles, but I don't really necessarily want the blade mechanic to come back. I think I'd prefer to have, like, the standalone characters do their own thing.
You don't like gacha?
Well, not that I don't like gacha, because I think we're probably going to see more of that in Nintendo games moving forward. I just think, I don't know, I like having like one character that I'm controlling.
Right.
Because the other thing too, right, is when you've got like Xenoblade games in general, you've got like the characters all fighting at the same time. There's voice lines that overlap. It's already kind of difficult to hear what people are saying, where they're all yelling out their attacks and the enemies yelling out attacks and stuff. But in 2, it's just all over the place because you've got like blades saying things, their drivers saying things, the enemies saying things, and it's just like a cacophony of noise. And I think to tone that down a little bit and just have the regular 3 characters on your squad plus whatever enemies you're fighting, I think it'd be kind of nice.
I get that. But
yeah,
man.
But I do love. I'm not saying that like I hate Xenoblade 2's battle system. I obviously really like it. It's just, I think
there's
it's
a lot.
There's a lot in Xenoblade. Yeah.
And sometimes like too many hands in the pot is a bad thing, and I definitely get that. Sure. But I mean, I don't know. Like, I felt that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is like a longer, more beefier game because of that. Because I mean, not only do you have to collect these blades, and they offer more gameplay, you know, differences and options when it comes to building your team, but also each one of the blades, which I feel is something that I really have to commend Monolith Soft for doing, because they really did not have to go out their way for that. Every blade has their own story. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, that's I feel that, bro, that's awesome. And then considering all of that, when we look at Xenoblade Chronicles 3, like, do you believe, like, that's gonna be the last final question of the stream. Do you believe that it's Xenoblade Chronicles 3, or do you think it's just a completely new IP from Monolith?
I'm gonna tell you this. I thought it was a new IP.
Right.
Since we got that initial concept art of whatever that new project was, and you see the night girl and this really medieval looking area and open world, I always thought that was not a Xenoblade game. I thought that was a new IP from them.
I mean, it looks like, but it looks like something up their alley. That's why I'm like, I wouldn't write it off as, you know, not a Xenoblade game.
But now that we know that Pyra and Mithra are in it, and we know that Melia is in it, and we've got these connections with other characters, part of me would love for it to just be Xenoblade Chronicles 3, right? To be a new world, but to be in the same vein as 2, right? Where you don't know it's connected until like later on in the game. And that's
I'm tired of this
hanky-panky
bullshit. No. I would not want that. At this far into Xenoblade, I would not want it to like, oh, the mystery of how they're connected. No. Okay. Maybe the mystery of how they're connected.
Fun. Yeah. Like little by little, as you filter in the characters that you remember, and then you finally get to the big reveal like midway through, and then there's some kind of twist. Like I like especially if it's like a totally new environment, like a more medieval looking environment with more fantasy elements. I think it'd be really cool to have the sort of like techno elements of Xenoblade. It's like techno magic, right? Like the stuff
magic
with the telepia and like, right. So I think having that combined with like a classical fantasy magic aesthetic would be really cool, and seeing how those worlds would interact. I think it is 3 though. I didn't used to think it was Xenoblade Chronicles 3, but I feel pretty strongly now it's Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Yeah.
Man, and that's crazy considering that we had Xenoblade Chronicles releasing in 2010. Wait, 2010 or 2012?
Yeah, all three. Right, like, all 3 of the mainline games would be on Switch if they do that, right? You'd have Definitive Edition 2 and Torna and 3. And the only one that wouldn't be would be X, and they could always port it over at some point.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then that really boils down to like, is X or Xenoblade Chronicles Cross or whatever, is it gonna be like really that substantial to the story, and is it truly connected? Because I mean, like a lot of the times people say it's not, the developer said or not, but the developers said the same shit about 2, and it turned out to be connected to 1. But you know, like it's one of those situations. Like, do you need to play this game to understand what could go down in 3?
So have you ever played Xenosaga? Have you played any of those games? Like
I knew this question was gonna come up during the stream. I was saying that earlier. I've only played like Xenosaga 1. I haven't touched Gears, and I haven't finished the Saga series, so no.
So the conduit that's in Xenoblade Chronicles is very much inspired by something that's very like prominent in the plot of the Xenogears and Xenosaga games, which is the Zohar. It's called the Zohar in those games. And the other thing about the Xenosaga games versus Xenoblade is Xenosaga was released, every single game was on PS2.
Yep.
Xenosaga Episode 1, Episode 2, they did like 1 and 2 as a double release thing with cut content, and then they did 3. And I think there was even like a mobile game, or there was like a side game. So the entirety of that Xenosaga series was over the course of 4 years just on PS2. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for them to do another sequel and have that also be on the same system as 2 and Torna and Definitive Edition. Because that's the big thing I hear from a lot of people is that, they're not going to do another Xenoblade Chronicles proper game until like the next mainline Switch, and I don't think that's the case, because Monolith has done multiple games in the same franchise on the same system over the course of, their development cycles.
So. Definitely. Especially since we're bouncing from Namco and then Square Enix, and then now we're at Nintendo, which is going to be great. Not Square Enix, Squaresoft at the time. But honestly, I think my hype and your hype is through the roof for the prospect or for the idea of Xenoblade Chronicles 3. But I will be sad if Shulk and Rex don't show up. But I mean, it's a big possibility they're not going to be there. But this has been really fun, Roger. But this is where we're going to have to wrap up, because I only have you for an hour, because we're doing 5th Dimension only for an hour here. But thank y'all so much for coming on out.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Greatly appreciate it. Always fun to talk about Xenoblade and Nintendo and all the goings-ons of the world. So, yeah.
Exactly. Yo, bro, you need to finish Neo. I need to finish Neo, and then we can have that stream.
I need to play Neo, just in general. I played the demo, and that's it. So, I'm very, very far behind.
Oh, extremely, man, because I heard this game is incredibly beefy. Now, before I toss y'all to the wind, remember we do 5th Dimension episodes every Friday. Next Friday, well, not every Friday, but almost every Friday. next Friday, we are going to be talking about something that you guys have been wanting me to do on the 5th dimension for a long time. I'll reveal it on Wednesday. But before I toss you out to the wind, we're going to go ahead and raid Fidel. And we're going to tell him, you know,
can take me.
Think you can take me. Think you can take me. Watch. Like, do you think he's gonna take that as a Mithra reference, or he's gonna take that as the grunt reference?
He's gonna know right away that it's, you know, Mithra, and probably the grunt as well. But I mean, he's gonna know it's Xenoblade. So
I mean, of course, like Xenoblade. But I'm like, do you think it's either gonna be Mithra or the soldier?
I mean, Fidel's a perv, so it'll probably be Mithra. Let's be real.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be grand. So guys, until the next stream, this has been HMK and RogersBase, and remember to always dive deep, be brave, and enter the 5th dimension.
5th dimension.
We will see you guys later.
Bye, everybody.